Last segment, we were talking about Apple and them potentially being on the wrong side of, any potential
history.
Yeah, if you want to go that far, you can. I mean, look, if we really want to talk about Apple, and I say this as someone who, again, probably is as big of a hypocrite as anyone out there then, got an iPhone, I got an iPad at home, but if we're talking about a company that has largely used labor that probably in a lot of cases is as close to forced labor without being slavery in many cases, and also has, taken advantage of that to, basically build a market that no other company is able to be profitable in, then, yeah, I mean, Apple should be worthy of some pretty significant criticism. I mean, it's not a company that practices what it preaches when it comes to human rights.
No, there's that, and there's the question of, is it bad business in the event that our relationship with China continues to deteriorate? So I guess there's a business angle here, and there's a little bit of a, forgive me, but a little bit of a patriotic angle here too. China is squarely on the wrong side of most issues, geopolitical issues, the American position on most geopolitical issues. Sorry, I started that sentence at the end and finished it at the beginning, but you get the point.
You got there.
Okay, thanks. As an American, as a citizen, as a patriot, which I think we all try to be, this just doesn't. This doesn't sit well. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, what are you doing, Tim Cook? Do we have to have a love fest right now? Why don't you just take a balloon over there?
Especially you're a week after President Xi and Putin sat down for a big get-together saying, hey, we see things the same way.
Yes, exactly.
And so you come off of that, and Tim Cook goes to China and says, this is a partnership that we value very greatly.
You nailed it. That's what I'm feeling.
It feels like a rare misstep from Apple from an optics perspective. Because Apple's always had, the relationship with China, which is kind of in the background. But this, it's like, hey, this is when you want to have this happen? This is when you want to go and say, hey, we really value China a week after Russia says they really value China?
Right. Exactly. That's what makes me uncomfortable.
You
expressed it very well.
And this is happening at the same time that you've got TikTok being dragged in front of U.S. lawmakers saying, well, how do we know that we can trust you? Because you have a de facto backdoor to the Chinese Communist Party because you're based in mainland China. And if the Chinese Communist Party comes calling and says, you have to do X, Y, or Z, what authority do you have to tell them no? So
what's the argument for not banning TikTok, if you don't mind a little digression on this topic? If not, I can punt.
This is not my argument.
Yeah.
Okay. But the argument is, well, it's just another social media platform. Do you really want to censor this speech? To which I say, well, it's not censoring speech. It's censoring the ability for a Chinese-based company to use its algorithm to disseminate views that they find to be favorable, at the same time suppressing views that the U.S. might find to be favorable. Look no further, just as an example, than what we saw 4 years ago when they had the crackdowns in Hong Kong. And we saw this in Chinese-based apps that they suppressed discussion of said issue. That might happen without anyone even noticing, okay? You don't notice if you're on TikTok, and I'm not, so I don't know exactly how it works, but if videos that are pro-Hong Kong aren't showing up for you, you're not going to notice because they didn't exist to begin with. Like, you wouldn't see it. So again, if China wanted to subtly, present the view that, Taiwan was part of China through, helping to promote those views on TikTok, well, why would you want that to be operating in your country? That's kind of what I get to, let alone, hey, we can use location services to track people who work near this nuclear power plant who might have state secrets.
That's what kills me. That
it's the whole thing.
This is not a fantasy, right? This is a very real concern, right? They put a spy balloon in everybody's pocket.